Well, it started off as apocalyptic weather, but the sun is coming out. Is that a metaphor for something? Have we bonded? Is it sunshine now?
I hope we've traversed the difficult waters. And now we're heading into clear skies.
Traversed is a good word. What about watching footy? Would you go to the MCG and watch footy?
No, I find it quite boring. It's too long.
Yeah. That's funny.
I'd rather watch on Foxtel on mute and pause and rewind stoppages and pause and rewind, just different intricacies, and look for stuff. Like look for little signs what players are doing.
Stoppages.
Well, it's where the game's won and lost, mate.
No,
it is. Well, roll-off halfback. My brother could play roll-off halfback.
It's like playing on the flanks like a hill start. You gotta attack, defend, attack. Got to get the balance right. I'll tell you what I do have issues with. Tackles. You blokes in the midfield in stoppages get a lot of tackles. I call them fall-on top-offs.
Stop.
There's a lot of fall-on top-offs. Out on the flanks, mate, we might only get one a fortnight, but it's like a cheetah catching an antelope. That's open. That's like the grass plains tackles, and then there's the fall-on top-offs.
Yeah.
It's neither here nor there. I just wanted to get that.
Well, we had a guy, Matty de Boer, who is deeply analytical.
Yeah.
And he went to the degree of figuring out what counted as a tackle, and he worked that out, that if you joined in a gang tackle, one tackle registered. So he would come home double digits regularly.
Let's see.
And he's just hugging everyone, basically.
Well, I want to put it out there to the statistical community. I want some more fine-tuning on that. Only laid about 10. I'm kind of fascinated by veteran footballers, but I used to observe them when they were coming to the end, and a lot of them talked about, at the Bulldogs anyway, of when they finished, the war's over.
I played a game against Chris Judd when I was probably my second year. He was at Carlton in the last couple of years of his career, and we were tagging him and going after him, and I was just so thrilled to be on the field with Juddy. But I looked at him and he looked so bitter at everyone else, and I thought, wonder what, like, you're a champion, two-time Brownlow medalist, like what? But the older I get, the more I understand that every week there's more people coming to get you, and you have to fight that urge to not be bitter at other players and bitter at the game. And I'm not saying Juddy was bitter or didn't like it, but it's an endurance. You just endure through a war of people just constantly coming to rip you down.
I think people don't quite appreciate that Nat Fyfe goes out and is in the top 3 players on the ground that week, but I think they fail to realise that the meetings of the opposition club all week are, a lot of it is surrounded by how do we stop Nat Fyfe. That's what you're talking about with Juddy, that the back half of his career, he just had people hanging off him the whole time. And I suppose that must have, I'm sure some days he was like, just let me run. Look, I've got these jets. I can just, if you give me a bit of space, I can just go, pew.
That's what it is. And probably Gary Ablett's the other one that I watched in that space of, we're watching the prime years of these guys' careers go by, where only rarely do we get to see them unbridled. The collar comes off and they can just do whatever they want.
Yeah.
And I'm in that space now. And you put the cape on and try and wear that as a compliment and enjoy that and take motivation that you're providing a real challenge for them. But you do, in the weaker moments, go, just let me entertain people.
Let me have a free run at it.
Let me just do what I used to do at Lake Grace.
Yeah.
But then when you watch the opposition superstars and you're playing against them, you're going, we got to be all over him, otherwise he's going to tear us apart.
That's the hypocrisy of footy in a nutshell. The tagger. We despise the opposition tagger. Like, they're the devil. They've got horns. Like, if he comes to one of our players, we must bury him. And straight after that meeting, so our player's player of the week is
Ryan Crowley.
He's put the halo on him.
So when you used to do the huddle and the speech, did you ever
I love
research
that.
gems of... Because you look around at the eyeballs and you get mixed responses. You get some guys who are just lasered in on you and every word is counting, and some guys who are just off with the fairies. Some guys are listening to the music from the stadium.
I love, that's my favourite, that was my favourite part of the job.
Yeah, okay.
I loved it. One time I did have this sort of perverse thought of, because there's a very famous E.J. Whitten speech that is captured on video. You know, you've got to show me all the guts and determination you've got in your body. You've got to inspire me. And I thought, I wonder if I could just, because I know it back to front. I've seen that. I've absorbed that speech. I can sort of imitate EJ's voice and inflection on it. I thought, if I just do that, if I steal that script, how many will know? Could I do it? And like Lockie Hunter would be like, so he's pinched that. Like he would have been straight. But I reckon a lot of the guys would have been, that was good, that's good.
Well, I mean, I'm cautious of it because if you do give a big heartfelt one and they kick 5 in the first quarter, you go, I don't know if there's any transference there. I mean, we've used the ones before, if you don't give 100% effort, your family's dead. And then we come in at quarter time and there's just been a mass homicide.
Oh, that's yeah.
So you have to use it sparingly, otherwise you run out of brothers and sisters.
Yeah, but it is about that last little bit. It is putting on that cape, isn't it?
Yeah, you go from just being a regular 195 centimetre bloke to having an invincibility cloak wrapped around you.
Well, you wear the cloak or the cape better than just about anyone in the league, and thanks for having me for breakfast. It was a beautiful bit of toast. Tea and sympathy it was, the old tradition. Thanks so much for having me in your home. It's great to chat.
Thanks, Bob.